Welcome back to JKPRising. Dead Space 4 is a game we all want as Dead Space fans, but we don't really know exactly where they could go because there's talks about maybe a reboot, maybe a different story with a different character, or maybe it does continue off where Awakening left off. We know the moons are at Earth, so we can only assume that most of Dead Space 4 would be taking place at Earth, where you, Isaac, or Carver would go down from the Terra Nova onto Earth and fight this infestation horde thing while maybe fighting moons as well. However, maybe the Dead Space 4 could start from a different perspective. Maybe we are in the perspective of someone on Earth before the moons arrive. And maybe that could be a cool tutorial on how to, get the game mechanics going and how to work the controls and stuff. And then maybe after the first chapter of that prologue, so to say, then maybe we see the moons coming in from like orbit and we see it from like the atmosphere, and then we see the Terra Nova coming in, and then chapter 2 could continue off with Isaac Clarke. So scenario number 1. Prologue on Earth, and then the events of Awakening happen. We see that in the actual atmosphere of the Earth. The moons come in, the Terra Nova comes in, and then Chapter 2 picks off exactly where Awakening left off. Number 2, maybe Awakening never happens. Maybe this entire DLC at the end of Dead Space 3 is a hallucination. So that means Dead Space 4 would have to take place on Tau Votanus, and then we'd have to have a better explanation as to how Isaac and Carver lived their fall. Scenario number 3. Maybe we play as Ellie. That would be something kind of interesting. We play as a character not as Isaac Clarke. There's been a lot of people saying, how can a Dead Space game exist without Isaac Clarke? There's other games out there like Dead Space Extraction and movies like Dead Space Downfall that have protagonists that are not Isaac Clarke, or the DLC that was in Dead Space 2 Severed where you play as someone that is not Isaac Clarke. So I think that is possible that you could play a game that is Dead Space without Isaac as the protagonist, or even Isaac being in the story. We just need a good scriptwriter. Tying scenario 1 and 3 together, we could play as Ellie after Dead Space 3 going back to Earth, and then maybe we could play as her throughout the first chunk of the game, and then Awakening comes in, and then we go back to Isaac. Maybe there's another necromorph out there that's even bigger than the moons, because in Awakening, the moons kept saying, take us home, Isaac, take us home. So is Earth their home? Is there something on Earth that they want to go back for? Is there a reason why Earth is so important? Besides killing everybody and making another moon, I'm sure there's something more in depth than just massacring everybody. Very short video, but I want to know what your thoughts are on this topic, because I'm kind of stumped. Besides, I thought that whole Earth perspective was a very cool idea. A fellow subscriber or follower on my channel suggested that, and I thought that was a very interesting idea on how that could play into the beginning of Dead Space 4. Or maybe Awakening is fake and maybe it's not real, maybe Dead Space 4 is different, but I really don't know myself, which is why I want to open the discussion up to you guys. Or come up with 2 scenarios. Awakening is canon, and then what happens next? Or Awakening is not canon, and for all the people who wish that Awakening is not canon, because I know some people didn't like that DLC, how do you think Dead Space 4 could continue? Or is Dead Space 4 going to be a completely new game with new characters? Let me know in the comments below. My name is James of JKPRising. Dead Space 4, Dead Space content. Subscribe to JKPRising. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.